This presentation is entitled, I Am Not My Test Score by Deleanor Kirkpatrick. This presentation, as far as an overview of the presentation, it's going to examine the origins of college entrance exams, gripes about SAT and ACT, best predictors, modest gains in ACT, biases of college entrance exams, ways to improve your test score optional admissions, some information about fair tests, benefits of test optional admissions, criticisms of the test optional admissions, as well as challenges of going test optional. As far as the origins of college entrance exams, I have the first bullet point as IQ test, and then next was in terms of progressing towards college entrance exams was the Army Alpha test. It was used during World War II, derived from the IQ test. In 1926, the Scholastic Aptitude test was developed, derived from the Alpha Army test. The Scholastic Aptitude test in the 1990s changed its name, the SAT, from the Scholastic Assessment test. It changed the name to SAT in 1996. The SAT-1 was launched in 2005. The ACT came about in 1959, derived from an Iowa statewide high school testing program. And in 2005 was the introduction of the new SAT. As it mentions, the College Board altered the SAT to be more suitable predictor for students' readiness for college, but the SAT evolved from the same assumptions as the IQ test about human talent and potential. And at the conclusion of the video presentation, please follow the provided link and watch the video that a high school student did about act out against the SAT. As far as the best predictor for college readiness is high school GPA. As a student progresses through their college education, college entrance exams scores become less accurate predictors compared to high school GPA. An article in the Chronicles of Higher Ed had an article about modest gains on the ACT. In this article, this slide chart just demonstrates how the gains of the SAT have occurred in a reflection to core classes taking in high school. Biases of college entrance exams. I'm going to review 3 different areas in terms of race biases, gender biases, as well as income biases that college entrance exams have. This chart was taken from the ACT's website, and it's a reflection of the biases towards gender. Looking at the chart, you can see the lighter green is a reflection of males' ACT scores versus female ACT scores. And from 2001 to 2011, you can see that males have consistently scored higher than females on the ACT exam. Some years with greater gains than others. There's also been information about reasons for the gender gap. Multiple choice format, for example, there's a better way for women to be assessed, such as a better form of essays or other type of assessments, as well as information has indicated that SAT rewards males greater willingness to take an educated guess on the test. Males do better on speed tests, where most students cannot finish, compared to most students not being able to finish the exam. So that's just some information that was obtained from the Fair Test website as well for reasoning behind the gender gaps on ACT test scores. Biases of college entrance exams by race. This is from the 2011 average ACT composite score. It's a breakdown of different groups, racial groups. As you can see, the national average, and then the breakdown. Asians are higher in the 2011 group of scoring on the ACT. There were only 3 out of the 8 ethnic groups that scored higher than the national average in terms of the ethnic groups that were that scored higher than the national average. That was Asians, whites, and two or more race groups that scored higher than the national average in 2001. Four-year trend average ACT by race. This is from 2007 to 2010. It also in the 2010 this 4-year breakdown, you can still see that Asians have still been higher than all students for the average based off of the 4 years. In 2007 and 2008, Asians, students that preferred not to respond about what race group they were affiliated with, and white students' average ACT score was above the national average. In 2009 and 2010, Asian and white students were above the national average ACT score. Biases for race. This is for from 2001, then it indicates 2010 as well as 2011 for the SAT, and it just breaks down based off of these three different years indicated for the mean SAT scores, not including the writing component. For college entrance exams, there's also a bias towards income. In 2010, lower income students with less education from the class of 2010 scored 125 points or more below their peers at the top of the family income and our parental education grid. ACT scores are directly related to family income. The more affluent a student's parents, the higher the ACT score the student has an opportunity to receive. As far as opportunities to improve your test score, earlier this year, the New York Times released an article about a situation that occurred on the East Coast. Some students paid for someone to take the test. Students paid anywhere between $500 and $3,600 for someone to take the SAT or even the ACT test for them. Students are really beginning to see and recognizing a high SAT score, ACT score, is a golden ticket to scholarships and attending your dream college. Interesting enough, the student that actually took the exam whenever they graduated from high school, they were in the high percentage range of what they scored on the SAT. So it was just really interesting to see the impact that has transpired on what students are willing to do to improve their test score in order to go to the college that they'd like to go to, or just even get scholarships to help pay for their education. Another option in terms of improving your test score, test preparation. At this, as quoted from the book in 2010, for the high stakes college admissions tests have a gigantic and mostly negative impact on American life. Currently, approximately 3 million youth graduate each year from high school. 2 million attend college. More than 1.5 million take the ACT. And with much overlap, more than 1.5 million take the ACT. The testing industry takes in more than $4 million annually. So you can definitely see that the testing industry is definitely profiting from students taking the college entrance exams. Some of the opportunities to receive test preparation can start at $500 or even I start at $800 to take place in test preparation classes. So it's just really interesting to see how much it costs in order to take these classes to prepare for college entrance exams. And some of these tests have the ability to improve, for example, your SAT score by 100 points or even more. Test scores, improving your test score. Test preparation continued. The less wealthy struggle to afford test preparation because of the high costs, as indicated mentioned in the previous slides information. Anywhere between starting either at $500 or $800, it can be really hard for a family to afford that. Increase in test score from being coached to perform well on college entrance exams. by being coached to perform well, that definitely will help you improve your score. Based on a survey administered by the NACAC, institutions feel prospective students' possibility of acceptance would increase upon their test scores increasing by 10 to 20 points. So there can definitely be benefits by taking test prep courses in order to improve your score. Test optional admissions. According to the Fair Test website, 850 four-year colleges are test optional schools. Just to mention some of the schools that are test optional: Louisiana State, New York University, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, University of Oklahoma, University of Nebraska, Texas A&M University, as well as Wake Forest University, who recently made the transition to test optional admissions. After reviewing the Fair Test website, there were small numbers that indicated how the different institutions implement their test optional admissions policy. Some institutions may de-emphasize the usage of college entrance exam scores, and others use it differently. But these are some of the ways, as mentioned on the Fair Test website, of how the different institutions implement their test optional admissions policy. When institutions are transitioning, or they already are test optional admissions institutions, they typically include some of the following to evaluate students for admissions purposes. They may include an essay, interview students, letters of recommendation. Students have an opportunity to submit a portfolio, and they're going to review their extracurricular activities as well as submit responses to short answers. At the break of this video, please click on the next video to view more the second part of the slide presentation.